Can we talk with your boy Big Body Cisco? Yeah, I didn't yell it. You guys know this is going to be a somber one for me, but it's our Fiji tribute. Can we talk? And not so much of a tribute as I kind of said. Was telling Austin and the team, I kind of wanted to spend this episode talking about Fiji because last week when we had recorded Can We Talk, we normally we release it on Fridays, and his passing happened on Thursday. And when I was like, also, here's the clips for Friday, I was kind of like, say, hey guys, this one kind of hit me harder than, usual, because if you guys know me and Fiji had a relationship that not a lot of people understood. Not a lot of people, me and Fiji talked like we were brothers, and that was my brother. And his impact on my career, on the careers of so many of your favorite artists, goes far, far back. So when I kind of wanted to do it, I said, you know what, Austin, we're going to kind of just go off script, not kind of have nothing, no topics, nothing over there. We're just going to talk about, I want to talk about my experiences with Fiji, because I'm also seeing that there's like a theme on social media. Look, guys, I get it. Go pay your tributes and do all you guys want to do. But there's certain things that's just off limits sometimes. You know what I mean? By like questioning his greatness or who's next, or like it's way too early to be having conversations like that. And then, the estate of Fiji and then was releasing a statement about people making shirts and for profit. And you guys see mine. I actually wore this in San Jose. My son, Jalen, made this shirt. There's a picture of me and him. And, when I made my shirts, I was making my shirts when he was alive. And Fiji would hate that. Fiji would like, why you got, I was like, dude, I'm paying homage. If you ask anybody, I made it a point to give Fiji his flowers while he was here. Every show that we did, every interaction, every come meet me at the casino, like I've always given Fiji flowers. I've also given Fiji a lot of headaches with a lot of the shit talking that we did going back and forth. As you guys know, during football season, I'll put the thing of you guys, this picture right here of Fiji with the eye patch and the Raider logo. That, come on. Now it's kind of like, now that he's gone, it's like, man, am I going to be able to use that anymore? I should have put it on a shirt and wore it today, but that's neither here nor there. But that was how our relationship was. And, with Fiji, I got real emotional. I think we'll throw a clip of that too. But in San Jose, that was our first show, my brother Fia, my brother Wastafa, that was the first time us taking stage since the passing of Fiji. I know my brother Jay Boog is on tour with Damian and Stephen Marley. I got to talk with him, got to talk with Glenn from Maoli. He's currently on his tour. And it hit a lot of us artists in different ways. Everyone grieves in a different way. I grieved with it instantly. I felt it, but I didn't feel it until I was on stage. It take over me and had the cracked voice and ball in the throat. And only because it's crazy because, when I do shows, I normally have Fiji there. And, I'm about to introduce him. And one thing about Fiji, I was telling Austin about this, he hated when I called him legend. When I say, give it up for your legend, like, not that it's a lot of pressure, but it was a pressure for him, right, to hit the stage. And I'm saying, it's a living legend. So the kind of more shows we did, the more later in his life when he was getting more sick, was me trying to give him his flowers to the crowd, telling you guys, like, I don't think you guys understood that you guys were in the presence of greatness. You don't realize greatness until it's gone. You see what Ozzy Osbourne, everyone has their pinnacle, like what Fiji was to island reggae and to the Polynesian culture. I won't just say the Fijian culture. I won't just say the Tongan culture. To the Polynesian culture as a whole, he was what Bob Marley was to reggae. He was what Ozzy Osbourne was to rock. And, everyone that has, their time, he was our legend. And when you have a legend that's still here with us, people don't know. Fiji was he passed at 55. Like, we just did his 50th birthday. I mean, I always made fun of him. I said, boy, you look 85. And we would laugh about it. But, Fiji lived the life of 10 men from beginning to end. He moved to Hawaii from Fiji when he was like 14, 15 years old. And just to kind of see, the transition of him being an artist. And, we were talking about it with some of the other artists. I don't think you guys understand his impact that he had throughout the whole thing. Anyone could be an artist and be an artist, like learn how to do beats and learn how to do that. But as Fiji progressed in his career, his main goal was to help the next artist. I seen it firsthand. It was to, he didn't want to help J Boog. You see it, and go look at the past podcast, which is crazy too, because everyone's clipping up the old podcast from Western Conference. We did a first one with him when you found out about the Tyrese stuff, and we did a second one with him. Every time we did a podcast is like a conversation with your boy. And those podcasts, if you guys go watch them, I mean, tons of views that came. And I don't do it for the views as well, but Austin was like, hey, the Fiji episodes are getting a lot more traction, of course, because our brother's gone. But when we were shooting those, we were playfully playing. I was like, man, when you gone, he's about to go get the number. And we were jokingly saying that. But behind the scenes, he pulled me to the side and was like, bro, the reason why I do your podcast is because I do want people to see this side of me that maybe some of you guys didn't see. So that's why some of you guys take some of our humor out of context. Some of you guys take some of our conversation like, oh, why are they talking like that? Like, this was a genuine, authentic conversation with my brother Fiji, with my brother Westafa. The jokes, the way we joked around was not for the faint of heart. Like, our humor was dark, and love my brother Fiji to death, but our humor was darker than usual. So if you see certain things in certain interviews or certain podcasts and certain interactions between us, to the naked eye, it would look like that's disrespectful or that's whatever it is. That's just how our relationship was. And that was why it hit so hard for me and for the rest of the industry. But going back to what I was saying, where those podcast episodes, that was the real Fiji. Not to say he wasn't real on all of them, but that you got Fiji in all of his glory. And I'm talking about, like, even Austin, who didn't really know who Fiji was, when he seen those, he was like, you guys are like boys. Like, watching that as an outside looking in type person, you could kind of see the kind of relationship that we had. And when he did pass, I got phone calls from everybody saying, I know how close you guys were. And, these people are close to you. He really loved you. Fiji talked about me in rooms that I didn't even know I was being talked about in. And he loved me and stuck up for me, when people was talking shit. So that's neither here nor there as well. But I did the same. And, when we doing the Holo Holos and you guys seen, I think the last Holo Holo, and we could talk about it now. I mean, and I was never one to shun or hide away from anything that happened with Fiji. The last Holo Holo performance, it was here in Vegas. Fiji was having trouble finishing his set, with his condition he was in. And I seen it from the back, and I was like, I can't let my brother finish. If this is the last time at a Holo Holo, I can't let it be like that. So I took it upon myself by telling Westafa, let's go over there with our brother, let's go play the music and have them sing along to it, because Fiji was in a lot of pain. Seeing Burns, and I said, Burns, I got it. Talking to Tanya and Tolo and seeing that we don't want to see our heroes like that. And right when I had seen that, I had jumped into saying we had to make this a better situation for the people that were there, because I don't want people to say, oh, look at Fiji at Holo Holo. So we kind of like backed them up, and we kind of played the rest of his set with his songs, and shout out Bonafide and shout out Dan and everything for doing that. But that's when you could kind of tell, him being sick was getting serious. We ended up doing his birthday party after that in Hawaii, at the old Locomotion. And he was like, brother, I need you at the after party. My brother K Nova was there. A lot of us were over there. And if you guys know Fiji, every time I had talked to Fiji, we had weird conversations like, oh, this might be my last birthday party. Like, stop talking like that, but that's what the conversations were, unfortunately, we were having. But, we were talking about the success of Boog and the success of Maoli and everyone that he has touched. And that's going back to when, people talk about when they first met Fiji. It's crazy because I met Fiji back in the day when he was in Hawaii. Like, people's stories are different. Our story is different too. Wait for the Netflix movie for the version, but I don't want to tell you. But I met Fiji, in passing, where he was in the middle of his music career. He was in Hawaii, and I'll just give you some type of context. Do Re Mi was a karaoke bar in Waikiki or in Oahu, and I met him there. We drank moonshine all night with Al Noga from the Minnesota Vikings. My brother Ant came in there and was like, F you, Al, and Fiji, and Al was like, who's this guy? Because we were such big Niner fans. Al Noga had hurt the Niner quarterback, hit Steve Young or Joe Montana, and my brother took offense to it. So we were in a karaoke room with Al Noga. I'm talking about Al Noga. If you go look him up, a picture of Al Noga right here. That's Al Noga. Minnesota Vikings D lineman, crushed. It was either Joe Montana or Steve Young, but us being such big Niner fans, my brother took offense to that. And he was like, dude, we're drinking moonshine. We're all talking. He's like, who's this guy? I was like, that's my brother, man. You heard Joe Montana. So it was just funny because that's a story that we were drinking with Fiji and drinking with legends where, that was kind of like the normal thing. On the weekends we had shows, and this is before I even got into the industry, and I just knew Fiji from passing and being in Hawaii. But I seen his impact then. I seen like the vibe and the whole mood would shift when Fiji entered the room in Hawaii. He was so loved out there. You know, he was a Laie boy. So he always put on for the Laie boys. When the Laie boy came out, that was like the anthem. Still to this day, when I play Laie boy, every Laie person in the world, Craig, feels that song and goes off on it. But the impact that Fiji had going over the years, you know, when I started Big Body Radio and I started going that, Fiji, hey, I need an interview. Got you, bro, whatever you need. Fiji was promoting Tofinga, Fiji, and his show Coming to the Bay Area, came straight to my Big Body Radio studio, did the interview there. And he never said no if it was an outlandish request. There was some outlandish requests, but believe me, I'm talking about a person that is trying to enjoy family time, and you have people, oh, sing happy birthday to my niece. And normal people were like, nah, right now. Fiji would take every picture. Fiji would sign every autograph, every interaction, would say a shout out to every person, even if he didn't know him. Fiji would take the time, okay, yeah, let's do it right now. Even if we were drinking, even if Fiji was drunk or something, but everyone will tell you he would never turn down a request to kind of say, oh, can you shout out my cousin or shout out my grandmother or whatever it was. Fiji took the time out to do it. After shows, during shows, pre-show, he was always having a group around him that wanted to be near him, wanted to touch him, wanted to, you know, and if you look at some of the people in the industry today, they wouldn't let that happen. You'd have security. Fiji would all, even if when he did have security, no, they're good. So that just kind of goes back to the character of what Fiji was too. And I just laugh at it because, you know, yes, he's a legend, but like being like the brotherly love that we had, the shit talking that we would do, he cringed at some of the things I would say. But that's why he loved my genuine authenticity. And he was like, oh, you're going to get all of Cisco when he's drunk or whatever he's doing. But that was our relationship. And to see what he did with J Bug and, you know, with his career and the K Novas and the Finn Groovers and, you know, from everybody, there was never time he turned it down. Like if you look at the last podcast, he said he didn't really want to work with Bug at first, but he's seen the work ethic and he's seen, you know, and the rest is history. It goes back to where he was more, and I think my boy Chaz Rocks touched on it too. He was more of a moral person than he was an artist, where his values and stuff that was instilled in him is what he was really trying to teach the other artists. Anybody could have a dope voice. Anybody could do dope production or dope, producing or whatever. But it was you as a person. Who were you as a person? Were you gonna resonate with your audience because of your genuine and your authenticity? That's what he looked out for. Were you that right person as an artist to go say, okay, you're ready for that spotlight? You know, Sammy Johnson as well. All these people that he worked with, everyone has their thing. So Fiji just kind of knew how to handle each artist in their own special way. So that's why each artist now has that genuine feel for when you lose someone like Fiji. Fiji is going to be missed, and you know his music will live forever. And Fia did a tribute. Glenn Framaoli did a tribute. Me and Mustafa did a tribute. The tributes aren't going to stop. I had just got word today that his, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but by the time this comes out, I got word today that, you know, we're doing Fiji's homecoming celebration, his funeral in Fiji on August 21st. It'll be on the 19th, 20th, and 21st, but we're going to send our brother home in the king's fashion for the king he was. I want to go back to social media because there's a lot of things, you know, being said and being, social media is going to be social media. I kind of take everything that I've been reading lately and been seeing lately with a grain of salt. You know, they had this rage bait person that kind of did some stuff about, I don't want to give them their shine. And they had another person on there talking the way he was talking. Look, guys, if you didn't know Fiji the way some of us artists do, we look at some of that stuff as disrespect. So I'm not saying not to do it, but everyone has free will of doing whatever they want. I'm just saying if you're going to go after, or just, not I'm saying you're going after him, but if you're going to kind of like talk about him in a manner that may be misconstrued in certain ways, don't do it. Don't do it because you're going to get one of your favorite artists taking that and watching that, taking it the wrong way. And now you won't have that accessibility to that person. So just be careful the way you guys handle some of you guys things. If you want to do what you guys do what you want. I'm just talking about as far as paying tribute, paying homage, and stop it with the AI Fijis. There's been a few AI Fijis that look like a dude named Sione from down the block. Like, stop. These AI things, we don't know how to use AI like some of these AI experts are using. So if you don't know how to use AI, stop it. Because somebody had a shirt on. I was like, oh, is that Uncle Phil? He was like, no, that's Fiji. Like, that is not Fiji. So that's why I could see where Fiji's estate was like, hey, we want to make sure when we come out with something, it's tasteful, it's done the right way. So stop it, guys. Especially the people that are trying to make it for profit. I talked to a few of you guys in my DMs and kind of told you guys, like, Fiji would have never hated on any of you guys trying to make money off his likeness. Trust me. But there's a time and a place. And this is neither the time or the place to try to make profit off of our profit. Did you get that? Did I go over your head? Stop trying to make profit off of our profit. If you got that, you know what I'm talking about. But it's a legend. He's gone, and his legacy is going to live forever. Fiji's going to live forever. So this episode, I kind of wanted to just touch on that. Don't want to get too far into it. I want to save some of mine for my eulogy when I go talk at my brother's funeral, if they let me talk. But know that Fiji forever is going to be through his music, through old clips, through old podcast episodes, through... Did y'all see the clip of him in the cross-colored jacket grooving? Man, I remember that Fiji. Oh, he was killing them back in the day. Look, that's neither here nor there. Shout out the family. But boy, Fiji was killing them. Was killing them even when he was in the wheelchair. But Fiji, I love you from your brother. Thank you for everything you've ever done for me, for Western Conference, I'm talking about, guys, he would not take a stage sometime and have a promoter pay me in front of him before so I can go introduce. Y'all don't know, man. I'm talking about they would have to go to the bar, come back with pay for me. He'd be like, Cisco, you good? I'm good. All right, cool. You guys ready for Fiji? And that's how serious it was. But Fiji made sure I got paid. Or going forward, you guys, it's going to be tough. There will never be another Fiji. He's one of those generational talents that only come once in a lifetime. And whether you hated or loved him or didn't know who he was until now, let me just tell you, he was a generational talent. There will never be another Fiji. George, Fiji Veikoso, we love you. We miss you. My brother, I will be at your homecoming. Fiji forever. Peace.